Hi, I'm Sarah Hill, the CEO of Bookstr. We are here today with the one and only Dr. Deepak Chopra. He is the author of the book, You Are the Universe. Doctor, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Sarah.
Again, as always, feel free to send in your questions. We are taking questions live and fielding them through my cell phone and giving them to the doctor as you're commenting. So feel free to put those comments in there. So I have a billion questions for you. I was lucky enough to speak to you last week on Bold TV, which was a very interesting conversation. If you guys have time to take a look at that, I would highly recommend looking at that interview as well on boldtv.com. But what we have, the first and foremost, the question that I have is, can you tell us about your book and why have you written your book?
I am a student of what can only be called reality. So I have been writing books about various aspects of how we know what we know. I've written 85 books. And so when I read some time ago, there are 2 trillion galaxies, literally, that's the latest estimate.
Wow.
2 trillion galaxies, 700 sextillion stars, and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of planets. And that our particular planet Earth, is a speck, not even a grain, in all the seashores of the Earth, many times multiplied. That's the statistic about what the nature of the universe is right now. So the next question is, how do we know that?
Yes.
Okay, we know that through modes of knowing and experience in human consciousness through a human nervous system, right? Mm-hmm. So the brain, human consciousness, and what we call the universe go together.
Okay.
Now, current science doesn't say that. Current science says there's a universe there, independent of our experience of it. Mm-hmm. But how would you know that?
Well,
how would you, if there's a universe outside our knowing of it,
you'd have to see it
or experience. If there's a universe that's outside our knowing or experience, mm-hmm. then we'll never have access to it.
Sure.
Right? So the universe that we know is as a result of sense perceptions, mm-hmm. inferences from sense perceptions,
okay.
mathematics, science.
Yeah.
All these activities are in human consciousness. Mm-hmm. And nobody's talking about that. If there was no human consciousness, there would be no universe to know. Right?
Sure.
I mean, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So we need to then understand the mechanics of how we know what we know. And how we know what we know is through sensations in our body, images in our mind that we call imagination, feelings, emotions, and sense perceptions. And today, if you go Google or you go on the internet, you ask the question, what is the hard problem of consciousness? Mm-hmm. The answer you'll get is we don't know how we experience anything that we call reality. We do not know how we experience this or mm-hmm. this or an image. If I ask you right now, close your eyes and think of a beautiful sunset on the ocean.
Okay.
You see a picture?
Yes.
There's no picture in your brain. All there is electrochemical activity.
But I see something. I'm on the beach right now.
So where is that? Okay, think of your favorite song.
Sure.
Can you hear it?
Oh, I have so many favorite songs.
Okay, but think of, you know, I say think of John Lennon's Imagine. Can you hear it?
Yes.
Where is that sound? There's no sound in your brain. Mm-hmm. There's no picture in your brain.
Is it not memory? Is it not memory?
But even that can't be found in your brain. Only when you think of it, then there's a neural correlate. It's called NCC. But that's a neural correlate is just an electrochemical reaction. Where is the experience happening? Mm-hmm. And the only thing we can say for certain is that the experience is happening in our consciousness.
And so
where is that consciousness? Yes. We can't find it.
Would you say it's in the universe? Is that why?
It's formless. Because it has no form, It's not in space-time. The universe is in consciousness.
Okay.
The mind is in consciousness. The body is in consciousness. That's why you are the universe. Because you, as you interact with your own self, create the experience of mind, which you just did when I told you to think of a sunset. But you're also creating in your consciousness this experience we're having. And the people who are watching us, they're having an experience too in their consciousness. Turns out it might be the same consciousness. And because it's without form, it is not in space-time, which means it's eternal, it's timeless. So it is not subject to birth or death.
Is this the same thing as a soul or a spirit?
Yes, but people get nervous when you use those words, soul or spirit.
Oh, okay.
So I tend not to use them these days because scientists get annoyed. I just ask them, how do you know what you know? How do you experience a sensation, image, feeling, thought, or sense perception? And the answer is, they give me, is that's the hard problem of consciousness. Now, there's only a hard problem of consciousness if you assume that the universe is physical. But there's no such thing as a physical universe. What we call physical universe or matter is an interpretation of experience in consciousness. So this is matter. It's hard. It's solid. It has boundaries.
Sure.
Right?
Physical boundaries.
Physical boundaries. Yeah. And so we call it matter.
Yeah.
But how do we experience it? We experience it as sensations, images, feelings and thoughts and sense perceptions, which are modified forms of our own awareness or consciousness. So in the deeper reality, there's no such thing as a hand. It's an interpretation of experience.
Do you think then that life is, we have questions, so I'm going to get to those, but I'm asking them all of mine right now. Do you think that life then is an interpretation of consciousness?
Life is a continuum of experiences and a continuum of birth and death. So death is not the opposite of life. Death is the opposite of birth. Birth and death are happening in every moment. Right now, when we started the program, that's dead.
Okay.
The beginning of my sentence is dead by the time I get to the last part of it, right?
Yeah.
So birth and death as experience are happening now.
Okay.
In every moment of now. That's why the German philosopher Wittgenstein, he said our life is a dream, we are asleep, but once in a while we wake up enough to know that we're dreaming. And so what do we wake up to? We wake up to our, now I'll use the word, to our soul, to our spirit, to our consciousness, to our awareness in which the dream is happening. The fact that we think of ourselves as separate, that's part of the dream.
Okay.
Because when we get to the awareness in which all this is happening, it's one awareness. The awareness in which you're experiencing me, your phone, the camera, and all the other people in this room, and the awareness in which I'm having this experience, and the awareness in which everyone who's watching us is having the experience is the same. And it's not in space-time. It's eternal.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's at least eternally on YouTube. No, I'm just kidding.
Eternally on YouTube till climate change knocks it all off.
Yeah, that's true too. Okay, we have a ton of questions coming in, so I'm going to get to those. Thank you guys, and again, put your questions in the comments and we will get an answer for you. The first question that we have is from Terry. Hello, Terry.
Hi, Terry.
It says, my universe consists of caring for a dementia patient. I think this is causing me some strange karma. What's your take on how I am experiencing my reality?
So first, don't say that to yourself, because the more you reinforce that idea, the more you will believe in it. And all belief is nothing other than the thought that you hold to be true. If you are caring with love, compassion, joy, and equanimity, then in fact your caring will enhance your well-being. But if it causes stress for you, then do something else.
Okay. We have Mariana on here, and she says, well, first, hello, Mariana. Thank you for writing into us. I am very happy that the publishing house I am working in has published The Future of God in Greek language. I'm really looking forward to reading your new book. She says it's a pleasure to listen to you. So Mariana,
I should say that my co-author of the book, Menas Kafatos, He's a Greek scientist. Although he trained at MIT, he's a cosmologist, he's a quantum physicist, he's a climate change expert, but he also has a great background in Greek philosophy. So much of what we say is about Platonic truth after Plato. So thanks for calling us, and surely this book will be in Greek soon.
Great. We have a question here from Mahogany. She says, do you believe in life after death?
I just said, birth and death happen in every moment. So when you totally understand that, then you'll understand that birth and death are the continuum of life happening in every moment of now. Okay?
What about the physical death? What about physical death?
You were once a baby, right? That's
No.
physically dead.
Yeah.
You were once a teenager.
Yes, I was.
That's physically dead. Every atom that you have in your body is not there, wasn't there a few years ago. So every single atom that you have in your body is recycled carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. And your body is dying in every moment of now, just like any other experience, because your body is not who you are. Your body is an experience in your being, in your consciousness. Once you get that, then you realize there's a part of you that was never born, that is not subject to birth and death. What's subject to birth and death is experience. That includes the experience of that which we call a body, that which we call a mind, and that which we call a universe, because the universe a few million years ago was a different universe and it's dead now.
Sure.
So there is nothing that we can experience that is not being born and not dying. The real you, though, was never born and therefore is not subject to death.
Okay. I'll take that.
Well, if you don't like it, object to it, and then we can talk about it.
It's amazing. Nancy says, much love from Baltimore. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy.
Okay, we have another question here. It says, what connection does someone's being, both physical and mental, have with one's health? As in, my body is experiencing pain and sickness. How much of that is real to a person, or how much of that is me?
So here is what we know scientifically today. 5% of disease-related gene mutations are fully penetrant, which means they guarantee the disease. A gene mutation is an error in gene expression, okay? Like a spelling mistake or a typo. So it prints out the wrong protein.
Are there errors?
Yeah, there are errors.
Oh, okay.
There are genetic errors that happen as a result of what we call mutations.
Okay.
But only 5% guarantee the disease. 95% of even mutations that predispose us to disease, 95% are affected by our lifestyle, which means, are you getting enough sleep? Do you know how to manage stress? Are you experiencing healthy emotions like love, joy, compassion, equanimity, empathy, peace of mind? Do you have loving relationships? Do you eat food that is not manufactured, refined, processed, contaminated by chemicals? And do you move? Do you exercise? And these days, of course, yoga and breathing are very good forms of mind-body coordination. So our lifestyle determines our propensity to disease in more than 90% of cases. There are 5% of gene mutations which we can't control right now. Hopefully science will solve them. Okay.
Very interesting. I have another question for you that I've already heard you answer, but I just think it's such an important answer. And you speak to it quite a bit, but how can someone find their purpose?
Ask yourself, if you had all the money in the world, all the time in the world, how would you express your unique skills and talents, and who would benefit from that? So your passion, your purpose, your life story, your job, your career, and your higher calling, when they all come together, you found your purpose.
Okay. We have Cyprian here. He says, can we build a happy world knowing that we are creators of our own reality?
That's my intention, even though you think it's very vain. I want to reach 1 billion people. That's why I'm sitting next to Sarah right now, because you're part of the billion that will bring about a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, happier and joyful world through their own personal transformation. Because I believe that we cannot have social transformation or planetary transformation until there is personal transformation in all of us, or at least a significant number of us.
How do you, first, what are the signs that you need to transform in some way, and how do you do that?
So, first of all, I'll tell you how. Every day, start your day by taking a little time, being still, maybe watching your breath, and then asking yourself the most important questions of our existence, which are, who am I beyond this name and form? What do I want? What's my purpose? What am I grateful for? What kind of world do I want to live in? Does my activity every day reflect my vision for the world? What kind of world do I want future generations to inherit? So if you live those questions, life moves you into the answers. You have to live the questions and live them every day of your life.
That's such great advice. We have a question from Kate. Thank you, Kate, for your question. It says, what would you say is the first step someone can take if they're interested in meditation or Eastern philosophy?
Well,
which you've studied both. You've studied Western and Western medicine, Eastern medicine, Eastern philosophy, Western philosophy.
Yeah, so the first step you can take is read my books.
All 85.
You can start with something simple like the 7 spiritual laws of success. But, I think a good practice of meditation always helps. With my friend Oprah, if she was married to me, she would be Oprah Chopra. You've heard that joke, right?
I have it. Okay. I'm obsessed with Oprah.
So Oprah and I have taught 6 million people meditation online. You want to know more about that, just go to chopracentermeditation.com and you can join us, and it's free of charge.
That's great. And you don't need a yoga mat, you don't need you can just start doing it.
You can sit wherever you're sitting right now and you chill out.
And you meditate for about 2 hours every day, is that right?
I do, because I'm not normal.
That's for sure, but that's a good thing. That is a very good thing. We have a question from Kat. She says, what is the difference between my awareness and yours? We are the same beings, so what came out of our awareness? And I think,
It's beautiful. There's no difference at the most fundamental level of existence. There's no difference between your awareness and mine. We are both a field of infinite possibilities, both a field of infinite love, infinite creativity, synchronicity. We both have the same powers of intention. The difference, though, between people is they are conditioned through circumstances into different belief systems. And so that conditioning can be religious conditioning, social conditioning, economic conditioning, historical conditioning, and on and on. So our conditioned mind is different. Yours is different, mine is different, everybody's different, which makes us unique.
Sure.
And that's good. But if you go beyond that conditioning, if you go beyond all imposed beliefs, then we're in the same field of awareness. So, there's a poem of Rumi. He says, way beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there.
That's great. I love that. Okay, I have a question for you, and it's kind of a sidetrack, but it's taken from your book. So you talk about computers, and you say that computers are mindless. It's kind of a hot topic right now, but what do you think about AI, and do you think that computers will ever be able to take over man?
So it's a complicated question, but let's start with the beginning, okay? Computers are based on algorithms. Algorithms are mathematical logic. But computers, at least now, can't be unpredictable. If you ask me, do you want to go out for dinner tonight? I can give you one of many answers, including, I'm not hungry. or or what kind of food shall we go for, or I'd rather see a movie. See, I'm unpredictable, and that's the beauty of human consciousness, unpredictability. Computers are predictable, and computers, of course, are programmed by us. So computers don't have a mind of their own. Computers can't fall in love. Computers can't have feelings. Computers can't say, I don't have enough peace of mind. So that's why I say computers are mindless. Now, as we move into the future, there'll be things like quantum